Now, joining us on the phone is Fergal Somerville, who is hoping to undertake an amazing feat this coming weekend. It really is incredible. So, Fergal, are you there? Can you hear me?
I can do it, Simon. How are you?
Oh, I'm very well, thanks. And more importantly, way more importantly, how are you ahead of this feat that you're planning?
Not too bad.
Feeling good, feeling strong.
Yeah.
So, tell us, what exactly are you attempting to do in a couple of days' time?
Hopefully this weekend I'll be aiming to become the 14th individual to swim from Ireland to Scotland. The piece of water is known as the North Channel.
North Channel, yeah. Jesus. How many miles is that?
It's roughly 20 miles in a straight line between Belfast Lough and Port Patrick in Scotland, which is what the course will be.
Okay, 20 miles. It's not going to be an easy journey, though. I believe that the North Channel is quite a rough patch of water.
It is indeed. It's different from the English Channel in that it's much colder than the English Channel. It's a lot rougher. It's a lot more tidal because it's like two funnels up there between the tide coming up and down between the two land masses from the north, which brings down cold water, and then back up again from the south. So you cannot swim a straight line across on a channel like this. It ends up being like probably a rather large Z.
Wow.
That you swim, because it'll take on average this swim, which has only been done by 13 people or 14 individuals so far. Sorry, 13 individuals so far, has taken 14 and a half hours. That's the average time it takes, which is involves two tides. So you get moved one direction by a tide, and then you get moved another direction by a tide, and all the time you're still trying to go from west to east, which is the way I'll be trying to swim it this time.
Is it any easier coming from Scotland to Ireland, or does it really not make much odds at all?
It's very hard to say, because I mean the attempts that have been made extend back over the last 100 years, but it was only the first successful one was only 66 years ago.
Right.
And like I say, there's only 13 individuals have actually completed it. Some most successful ones have been from Ireland to Scotland.
Okay.
But people also have swam from Scotland to Ireland. One of the most famous being one of our own, Colm O'Neill, fantastic Irish swimmer, who swam that in I think it was 11 hours and 24 minutes.
So he was fast. He was doing the front crawl.
Well, it'd be front crawl all the way, but Colm is a very, very fast swimmer anyway.
Right. Now, you're not just jumping in at Belfast there and hoping for the best. You have done a lot of this kind of stuff before. You've already completed a swim of the English Channel back in 2011. What was that one like?
Bit terrifying, because it was the first attempt at that distance. Very many distance swimmers sort of aspire to and work up towards the English Channel. There's about 1,300 people who swam the English Channel as opposed to 13 the North Channel. But it was very, very intimidating for me, in that my longest swim preceding that was only 6.5 hours.
Right.
Whereas that swim, the English Channel, it took me 12 hours and 40 minutes, which was actually a very good time. It was faster than the average, and I think at the time that I did it, there was 60 Irish people that swam the English Channel, and I turned out to be the fastest over 40 at the time. That was eclipsed last year by another speedster, Tom Healy, who did it in 9 hours and 51 minutes. Absolutely fantastic time now, But on these sort of swims, like, because it's so tidal and there's so many wind, everything comes into it. Shipping lanes and the likes, it's not so much it's more the attempt rather than anything else. But then if you're successful, you're successful. The time doesn't really come into it,
Okay, you've done it. You did it in whatever time it takes, and I suppose that's a great achievement in itself.
Yeah.
But on top of that, congratulations on being the fastest over 40. That's incredible. Were there times during that English Channel crossing that you were just kind of going, oh, I can't do this. I have to stop, or did you?
Just the first 12 and a half hours of the 12:40 No, it was actually because the morning I stood on the stones at the back of Dover Pier was the first morning that I actually doubted myself that I would do it, and it's actually, you have a lot of time to yourself, 12 hours and 40 minutes in the water, so.
Is it really cold? Is it freezing?
The North Channel is cold. I was up there last Saturday week with John Daly, another channel swimmer, and whose guy has ridden shotgun for me on these swims, and it was just under 10 degrees up there 2 weeks ago.
Okay,
which is very cold for a swim of that distance and duration. And
do you have any wetsuits or anything like that?
Not at all, Simon. Please, no. It's just purely togs. It's what's known as channel rules. It's what Captain Webb from the English Channel in 1875, and that's you're allowed togs, a hat, goggles, and that's it.
Oh well, all right. Well, now I can't believe that. Fair enough. This is how channel rules. Who can question Captain Webb's authority? You know, it's all encompassing. Now, the North Channel is obviously there's very few people have attempted it. It's obviously a much harder thing to do. What sort of training have you been doing to get in shape for the North Channel?
Well, I've continued my training scheme that I had for the English Channel, and the training scheme for the English Channel for myself is over 1,000 kilometres every year, which usually is made up of 4 to 5 kilometres every weekday morning in the pool up in DCU, and then Saturday and Sunday out in Malahide for between 3/4 an hour and an hour all through the year. Frightens people when they drive past you on the 5th of January and they see you in your togs walking down to beach in Malahide. It's not just a Coast Guard they call it.
Yeah. And I mean, aside from the cold and the tides and you know, are there any other this is pretty risky business. I'm sure you have a crew that's sailing along beside you just in case.
It is, and I have an excellent crew. And if I could just mention them to Simon, because I have my first ones, unfortunately the ones that can't come because we had to cut the numbers down this time for a number of reasons. But my two sons, Owen and Connor, and John Downs, a friend of mine, and Mick Gartland, a guy from school who's been in charge on all of me swims before. But unfortunately, they won't make it with me this weekend. But the crew that I do have is, first and foremost, I have Tom Healy, channel swimmer and paramedic. Tom's Dublin Fire Service, and a fantastic swimmer. And there as well, in case there's anything needed for a paramedic to attend to. I said John Daly, another channel swimmer and international ice swimmer who's been with me. I have a guy called Martin Cullen, who's probably the most respected man in Irish long distance swimming, and nearly the father of Irish long distance swimming, along with a Cork man called Ned Dennison, I have to say. But Martin has been a fantastic friend and mentor for the 5 or 6 years that I've been doing this. And then I have a genius based in Donaghadee called Quentin Nelson, who's the pilot on the boat, and he has two crew, Ross and Sparky, who'll be working with him, because the swim could take up to 20 or more hours.
Hours.
And then most important of all is my wife Mags, who'll be there with
the good lady wife,
replenishments and stuff like that, and encouragement, you know.
And hugs at the end, perhaps.
Hopefully. Well, I'm her biggest fan.
Now you've chosen to do this for cancer research, which is a very good cause. What made you choose this charity?
Well, I change my charities as often as I change my togs, Simon. You know, and I've done 4 of these big swims, and one of the ones that when I did the English Channel, I did it for cystic fibrosis research.
Right.
And I picked up donations on that from €2 to over €1,000 between schools and all who helped me out, you know.
Yeah.
And the result of that research, actually, from Professor Jerry McIlvany in Beaumont, one of his research projects, it identified the cause for women with cystic fibrosis not surviving as long as men with cystic fibrosis. And he has addressed that and actually brought that anomaly to where women with cystic fibrosis now actually have a longer life expectancy and on a par with men with cystic fibrosis.
That's incredible,
which
right?
Is absolutely incredible. And
we're just running a little bit short on. We're just running a little bit short on time, Fergal. But just a little bit touch on the cancer research there and how people can sponsor you.
Again, the reason being, I think research is something that makes a fantastic impact, and cancer research is something that's dear to most people's hearts, and so I'll pick that as well. But if you want to sponsor me, if you're impressed with it, and even if you're not impressed with it, you can go on to Google, and if you just bash in my name, which is Fergal Somerville, it'll bring you into what I have as a blog. And on the blog, there's going to be a tracker on the swim for whenever the swim happens. And there's also links then to the charity, and the money will go directly from the mycharity.ie to cancer research. I don't see or hang on to any of it at all myself, and so hopefully we'll raise a few quid for research.
Well, I hope you do, and that's happening in 2 days' time, so on the 15th. So it's very important that people, if they're going to sponsor you, they need to do it now. Just Google Fergal Somerville, go to the blog, go to the My Charity page, and donate some money to this very, very good cause. I wish you all the best, Fergal.